Hey there, I'm super excited because tonight I am talking about 3 ways to fill your confidence cup. And if you are struggling with prioritizing yourself, if you do self-care but then you don't feel different, then you want to watch this live because I cannot wait to explore this topic with you. But I'm not doing it by myself. Tonight I got my good girl, Tenagne, who's going to join us in just a few. She is a mindset coach, and you guys, I'm going to let her introduce herself. But first, if you are struggling with that prioritization, which again affects your confidence, then you are in the right place. I'm super excited. Okay, now before we get started, welcome to those who are new here. My name is Z, and listen, I teach Black women how to apply their makeup with confidence. But I feel that before there's makeup, there's other elements to us as women that we just have to break down and talk about. And so tonight it's going to get real, no judgment. We are definitely going to have a fantastic time, okay? Now, I am the creator of Beautiful Us University, so if you struggle with doing your makeup, then I am your girl. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but first, y'all, I got to bring on my girl Tenagne because she is here. Let me see. First of all, I got to figure out how to do it. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's almost like the screen knows that I need her on. What's up, Boo?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm so excited.
Me
I
too.
forgot to message you back in the DMs, but I was saying I'm excited to get to know you better as well. So
Yes.
Hey y'all.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Y'all, I'm super excited because you guys, Tenagne is a mindset coach, and I feel like a lot of times we don't be wanting to work on our brain. We don't be wanting to work on our mental space. And I think that in order to get summertime fine, y'all, it starts with your confidence, which starts in your mind. So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Again, you guys, for those who are just joining, I am Z, and I am your melanin makeup coach, and I am here to help you get your makeup together. But before you can do that, you have to have the confidence that you can even do that much. So we got to break down a few of these limiting beliefs and a few of these prioritization issues that we have. But Tenagne, introduce yourself for the people.
Hey you guys. So I'm a mindset coach, and I primarily serve women who are right at the corner of healing and entrepreneurship. So if you are already an entrepreneur, then you will resonate with a lot of the mindset and limiting beliefs and issues that we're going to be talking about today as it relates to your mindset and the mental chatter that goes on. And I help women overcome limiting beliefs so that they can take specific action to reach their goals. So I am excited. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, fantastic. Now listen, y'all, before we jump in, I want to talk about what you guys think confidence actually is. So everybody put in the comments your definition of what you feel confidence is. Let us know, because everybody has a different definition. Everybody looks at it differently. So let us know what you feel your definition of confidence is in the comments. Now listen, y'all, I don't do that whole y'all just chilling.
I was gonna say, I don't know how I don't go live often, but I'm like,
we talk back. You know what I'm saying?
Come into the room, please.
It's a conversation, okay?
Come into the room.
So let me know what you guys think confidence actually is. I want some definition. Now listen, let me go ahead and let me just say this for the people. I'm gonna do a quick little commercial situation. You guys, a part of what I do is actually help women feel confident doing their makeup. And in order to do that, you have to have the tools, which is why we're talking about tools of confidence tonight as well. But a part of those tools, and Lord Jesus, I just used them. A part of those tools are having the right makeup brushes. Now, when you participate tonight, I be giving away stuff. So you might want to get in these comments and start talking to me, okay? So these brushes are especially created for makeup beginners. So what makes them so special and unique, they are the first brushes that are numbered in order so that you won't be confused about what your next steps are. They're named descriptively so that you won't be lost. You'll know what comes first, second, third, so on and so forth. And you can get a basic beat or you can get a full glam. You guys, these are called matter brushes. Super duper proud of my babies. They have been helping women all around the world, and this can be yours too. You know, we're gonna see how the night go. Now we here for a good time, not a long time. So y'all better come on, pop into these. Pop into these.
No, I'm excited. I haven't even opened my brushes yet, and mainly because I was like, "Child, let me go get my hair done tomorrow, and let me look like someone." I'm trying to do my own makeup. When I saw that you were coming out with these brushes, I just thought it was the most ingenious thing ever. And it's just so supportive. Like I'm in that group of women that's like, baby, my makeup consists of concealer and an Anastasia brow pencil, and that's pretty much all I got for the people. Okay,
come on.
So I'm excited to learn more from you in that aspect, in that arena as well, because it's just so many women that need that.
Okay, let's hit these comments, girl. Okay, so we have, I'm going all the way back.
I don't know why I can't see any of them.
You can't see no comments? That's all right. I'll read them to you. Yeah. All right, so definition of confidence: self-assuredness, just being completely sure of yourself, being true to yourself, being yourself and not bowing to no one. Baby, she said there was some authority, okay? Being comfortable, not worrying about what others think, feeling like I can do anything, having faith in something, being sure of it, feeling good and believing in yourself while showing that on the outside, feeling great about where you are in life, not worrying about others' opinions, self-assurance, but willing to ask for help if needed. Somebody else says sure of yourself. Miss Patsy, having the mindset to move forward in what you set out to do. Another, self-assurance and asking for help if needed. And then Ronnie says, believe that you are the ish, baby. Okay. So now for me, I love that they pulled out the word self-assurance. That's really big for me. That resonated with me. So what did you hear that resonated with you as far as the definition of confidence?
Right. Those are some really like thoughtful definitions. Like I could tell y'all was just like, what does it mean for me?
Yeah.
Right. And so the things that kind of resonated with me was the word belief. I always use the word belief when I talk about confidence, because a lot of people don't even realize that there's a difference between confidence and self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And that's always a very like hard distinction to make, because mm-hmm. we can start to break down why people have high confidence and low self-esteem. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And so when I think of confidence and when I define the word confidence, it's really just like your belief in your own abilities. Mm-hmm. So we can like just kind of dumb it down so that it just makes sense. Otherwise, when we have these really like intense definitions, it's just an easier way for us to feel bad when we're not 100% in those things. Like when we're not 100% self-assured, or we're not 100%, trusting ourselves, or we're not 100%, then it just kind of dips down on our confidence. And so I really think that separating self-esteem and confidence will help us to understand why in some areas of our life we feel very sure of ourselves, and then why some mm-hmm. areas of our life we feel less confident. And so when I think about self-esteem, I think about like just your overall impression of yourself, either negative or positive, but just your overall impression of yourself, how you view yourself, right? Your levels of worthiness and your levels of value that you have in yourself. But confidence, that thing gonna dip, because confidence I really look at on a day-to-day basis, like personal mm-hmm. self-confidence. Like at the end of the day, I think somebody was saying that too, like I did the best that I could. That's how I measure it. That's mm-hmm. how I measure mm-hmm. it, is at the end of the day, can I say that I did the best that I could? And that's not always 100%. That's the thing. Like I don't want us to think and associate confidence with being 100%. Yeah, it's just my belief and my overall, like faith. I like that word as well. I kind of use that word confidence too, because you know, sometimes you have to be confident in things you don't see.
Come on.
And, you know, that's where that faith comes in and where that belief comes in. But I think because we measure ourselves and judge ourselves according to our levels of productivity, and for most people, we're not even defining it as that, but we associate our levels of confidence with our levels of productivity. And so that is why it's so important to look at it as like at the end of each day, because we can't, like, it's too much for a week, for a month, it's too much, because your mind's gonna go straight to the negative. How much you didn't get done, you know, how many days you felt like you were being lazy or procrastinating. But if you could take look at it day by day, then you could really start to overcome like the irrational thoughts behind your confidence.
So you feel that we should take inventory of our confidence on a day-to-day basis, but self-esteem is more so over the long stretch. Is that what I heard you say?
Absolutely.
Y'all, how do
I think
y'all
it's
feel about
way
that?
easier to build your confidence. Way easier to build your self-confidence than it is to build your self-esteem.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. So what I gather is that confidence is basically our belief in our own abilities, really day by day, which makes so much more sense, because some days you tie your abilities to productivity, but you may tie it to a specific task. And so that one task can dull your confidence for the day, versus your self-esteem overall. Like, no, I'm still valuable. I just wasn't too confident about that thing, or too confident about that outfit, or too confident about, you know, that specific job. So, man, I think that that's really huge to make that distinction, you guys. So confidence, I want y'all to type that in the comments. Confidence versus self-esteem. Confidence versus self-esteem. And that way, we really gather a difference. Now, listen, I don't know about y'all, but note takers are game changers, okay? So make sure y'all pull out y'all notepads and y'all take some notes, okay? Because if you're anything like me, I've been studying like foods and things that I've been eating, and I eat so much. I love dessert. So typically people who have a sugar itch have poor memory. So that's that's me.
That's the reason why.
Listen, I had to get down to the root of that thing. I said, wait a minute. Why is my mind short?
What's happening?
Why can't I remember stuff? It's the sugar. It's the cookies and the cakes that I can't let go. Okay, so all right. So as we think about confidence, I mostly deal with confidence in the beauty space, and I know that you deal with confidence more so in the entrepreneur space. But I think that the concept is still centralized to whatever it is or however we show up. And so, what are some ways? Now, I got a few ways, but that I know. But the opposite of confidence is really like insecurity. So where do we feel you know, not as strong? So how do those insecurities show up? And to counter that, why is confidence so important? So when I think about, you know, how they show up, insecurities can show up very negatively. And with my 10 years of experience, just meeting so many women from so many different backgrounds, it became easier and easier to detect an insecurity. And it became easier and easier to detect a woman who was filled with insecurities and a woman who just had a insecurity, if that makes sense. And so those insecurities did come over as lack of self-esteem, lack of self-value, lack of self-worth. And so I want to share how some of those insecurities kind of show up, because there may be some women who don't even know that they're insecure. And so in order to fix that, we have to expose what does the insecurity look like. So what's your take on it?
That's good. No, I like what you said about insecurities being linked to a lack of self-esteem and a lack of self-value and a lack of self-worth, because that just ties right back around to that initial statement. If we can just accept that there's a difference between confidence and self-esteem, then we would stop letting our insecurities take over our sense of self-worth. And when we're feeling like we're unworthy, or like we're not valuable, or we're less than, or we have, this is the word I like there's like a defectiveness. There's something wrong with me. That's a very heavy limiting belief that's at the root of a lot of our insecurities, but they show up for me and a lot of my clients and the women that I speak with in our decision making. And I think that this is why, like, we can't really link these insecurities to confidence in a way that it impacts our belief in our abilities. If we can just accept that these are insecurities that we have to heal through a healing process or a healing journey, then that will improve our self-esteem. But we're mixing the two. So now, because I feel like something's wrong with me, or I feel less than, or I feel like no one's going to like me, because now that's impacting my productivity for the day. It's impacting, when it really is something we got to address through a healing process, which is very intentional, right? And so I feel like when it comes to decision making, when you don't have well-defined values, and you don't have like an overall very positive impression, let's go back to the self-esteem impression of yourself, then it really impacts how you make decisions. And so I always, like, when I hear insecurities, and insecurities and limiting beliefs, they're kind of like the same thing. They kind of carry the same types of language. So they show up in stories that we tell ourselves and thoughts that we kind of replay over and over again. And they're typically, they seem very real to us, but they're not always true. Sometimes they're very irrational, right? So because I only received 5 likes on that photo, I got to take it down. No one's like me. No one's going to buy my products. No one's going to, hire me. It's just we start spiraling. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I ain't did nothing today. And because I ain't did nothing today, at the end of the day, when I evaluate my day, I feel poorly about myself. Now I feel bad about myself. Yeah. So those types of feelings trickle into the next day. Yeah. So now I'm not just impacting my decision making. I'm in, like, that stuff trickles, like it spirals, and you wake up and you had a bad dream, or you just wake up and it's like, and so it's such a really, I'm so glad we're having this discussion, because these aren't always, like, even the word insecurity, the way we're just throwing it around, because okay, we all have them. But they're so like negative, the connotation to the word, that we're almost so defensive when it's time for us to address our insecurities. We don't know, that's not a problem. Oh, I ain't got to worry about that. Oh, that happened a long time ago. It's not impacting me now.
And see, that's the defense mechanism that happens. And so when we are putting up that defense mechanism, it pushes us away from the solution, rather than helping us to face whatever the root of that specific insecurity may be. And I love what you said about how insecurities can really affect our decision making, because we do feel defective. And I have, and this is just behind the scenes of my business model, and how I introduce the value of learning how to do your makeup. The value of how having a new skill in your pocket really affects how you show up in the world. It affects how you, if you do have a business, you'll want to go live more if you feel good about how you look. If you're dating, you're going to walk into that date a lot stronger, more confident. It might be some stuff you ain't going to accept because because you know how to do your makeup, and so the struggle sometimes is the belief that they can actually do their makeup, that the look that they want is actually possible. And so because they struggle with that belief, they struggle with their decision making to actually join a course, or join a membership, or join any offers, just because they struggle with their belief, like, I tried this one time and this ain't gonna work again. And so a lot of times, I absolutely agree that it shows up in decision making. Insecurities also show up again in that defense mechanism. Some people are overly defensive, and even though that may look like confidence, like it presents itself as I'm this and I'm that, but
Mhm.
really on the inside, there's like this little girl that's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want nobody to pick on me. I don't want nobody to
Mhm.
say I'm not doing something. I don't want anybody to think I'm defective.
Mhm. Mhm. Am I able to log out and log back in 37 seconds? I cannot see the chat and I would like to.
Okay, okay, yeah, you can log out and log back in. Are you guys enjoying this? I want you to put some fire emojis in the comments if you are enjoying this. I am having a grand a grand time. So make sure you put some fire emojis down there. Look, while Tenagne is logging back in, I want to let you guys know that I have a class coming up, you guys. It is free. Basic Beats 101. Okay, I am teaching everyday makeup beginners where to start, you guys. It is on Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link is in my bio to join that class. Just go to my bio. There's a link that says take my next class, and you can register there for free. I promise you, you do not want to miss this. You're going to learn my 3 proven steps that you need in order to create a polished look that you want and love. Okay, so make sure you jump into that class. I am really enjoying this conversation, and I see y'all fire emojis down here. I love, love, love it. Thank y'all so much for your patience. Can you see it, girl?
I'm here.
Okay. You can see the comments now, though, right?
The fact that I had to log back off today, I needed it.
Well, baby, they putting that fire down there because this conversation is hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I want to ask. I want to ask the audience. I want to ask you, ladies, what do you feel is the difference between confidence and self-esteem? Based on what you've heard so far, what's the difference between confidence and self-esteem? Let us know in the comments what you got.
It's giving pop quiz.
Listen, I will pop the quiz at any time because I want the people to walk away learning something. I'm not coming on here to rah just for my health and strength. Okay,
Right.
I'm on a mission to bring a whole bunch of women with me.
Listen,
And
I hear you.
I want them to feel their best.
I hear you. I love what you said before I hopped off about, the defense mechanisms or insecurity showing up in people's defense mechanisms, and confidence being the way that they mask some of those insecurities. And so that's why it's so important to, like, when you accept it, or like when you shift your mindset into that space that, like, wow, I can be someone who has high confidence but still struggle with my self-esteem, or still struggle with my sense of value. At some point, you'll make a decision where it's more important to you to heal. Like, it's more important to you to heal whatever unworthiness that you carry or have carried based on something that happened a long time ago, or a story that was told to you that you kind of replay over, because then your high self-confidence and your overachieving and your perfectionism, I ain't even gonna get all into that with y'all tonight because that's a whole nother topic, but it really starts to be, it's masking. Now we've developed a protective personality, so no one will know what you said earlier, that there's a little girl in there that says, like, what's happening is the defectiveness, but what's happening is now I am attributing my value and my self-esteem to external measures. So now somebody else has to affirm my worthiness. Somebody else have to affirm my value. And I think that, and I've never really thought about it this way until I'm saying it, but I think that a road to building your confidence could likely lead to higher self-esteem. I think because it's easier to build, especially because we're looking at it on a day-by-day basis. And so I think making that decision to, like, okay, every day I'm going to do a little bit of something that scares me, or a little bit of something that prioritizes myself. And I know we'll talk about some of those ways, but I feel like on a day-by-day basis, on the grand scheme of things, or as you look, or the overall impression of yourself, like, wow, I really take care of myself. Wow, I really have set boundaries because every day I said no, or every day tweaked my schedule a little bit to accommodate self-care or self-love or things like that. So overall, you really can get a good handle on those insecurities or the self-esteem if you can tackle building your self-confidence on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. See, I think it's all just interlaced together, because what you said was, if you work on building your self-confidence, then it will in turn build your self-esteem. But then I heard, if you heal your self-esteem, then you in turn build your confidence.
Absolutely. And let me tell you one's a little bit easier. One is most definitely more challenging. We're looking at like years, like a years long journey. This ain't nothing you can heal overnight, baby, not in some months, not so, and I do understand, because I am like in the midst of that journey, right?
Yeah.
I do understand that it's just not for the weak hearted. I thought entrepreneurship was not for the weak hearted, baby. That healing journey. But you're absolutely right. I feel it's so crazy. I think that also my confidence that I have now is so much more spiritual, and so much more of it
grounded.
It comes off as more of humility and obedience than it does confidence, actually. And I actually would rather have those things, because they're directly, you could tell the work in each of them.
And it's funny, because when you start doing the work, you can recognize people who have not. The radar kind of opens up. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, because it's a beautiful land over in the heal space. Just even in the journey, because it's almost like you're always working on yourself. You're gonna always be on that journey, but there's a difference between people who are walking that healing path and those who are not. But I would love to have more women to make the decision to let me walk this path. Why do I get so upset if somebody say XYZ to me? Why am I so offended when, somebody says this? Why am I nitpicking and talking about myself constantly when I stand in the mirror? I remember my therapist telling me, I told her about a time where I made a decision in middle school that I wouldn't show up as smart. And she said, wow. She said, wow, that is so mean to say to yourself. And of course I broke down crying, child. Yeah. I was tore up after that. But it made a lot of sense. Sometimes we are so mean to ourselves because we need that healing of our self-esteem. We need to go back to what was it that triggered that specific shift. I want to shift the conversation a little bit, because what we're talking about tonight is 3 ways to fill your confidence cup, which I didn't even imagine that our conversation would even walk this path. But I'm so glad that it did. And so a lot of times I sit down once a month and I actually have my own little worksheet I made on Canva with different cups on it. And I use this little worksheet to kind of keep me in a space of prioritizing Z. It's so important that Z is good, because if I'm not good, nobody around me can be good. And I don't want anybody sucking me dry. And I have important to myself to even have the capacity to, share myself in that way. So one of my cups on my sheet is confidence. How can I feel good about myself? What is it that I can do that really, it doesn't drain me? It's something that really kind of revives me, rejuvenates me, makes me feel good. And so some examples of that is buying like new underwear. Sometimes that wire be kicking us, in the side on that bra. Sometimes it's buying a new bra. Sometimes it's getting, scheduling your dental appointment to get your teeth cleaned. It could be wearing your waist trainer, during the day. A lot of those little things that make the difference. One thing that I asked in my stories though today was, do you feel that self-care and confidence correlate? What do you think, Tenagne?
Yeah, absolutely. I define, like, when I think of even confidence on a day-to-day basis, I think of taking care of yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
not even as much as I think of like how much did I get done today. I'm going to measure my confidence in how well did I take care of myself. And so that's directly related to self-care. And a lot of the self-care on a day-to-day basis may not, because we're not getting our nails done every day. We're not you may not take a bubble bath every day. Child, you should be doing a little bit of skincare every day, but I'm gonna mind my business. I'm gonna leave that to the expert, the makeup expert. But it's not always this grandiose kind of form of self-care. And so what I'm always like super passionate about is a morning routine. And I feel like people look at morning routines as another like to do, you know what I mean? Like added to the to-do list. So we judge it in the same way we would judge like something on our to-do list, right? If we don't do it or we don't get to it, or we feel like everything has to be like in place for us to do a morning routine. So like if my kids like waking up in the middle, like that's why I didn't do a routine. But like if I slept, that's why I didn't. And so I want us to really look at our morning routines as a form of self-care and a way to build your self-confidence, because you should understand and have activities and habits inside your morning routine that fill you up. So if I don't do it, I'm probably not going to be able to give my best self to my work, to my children, to my husband, to whoever in the outside world, to your job, wherever you are. If I'm not intentionally filling my cup, and you guys, we don't have to think of our morning routine in this like elaborate, like 1 hour, 90-minute like situation. I literally have a 30-minute morning routine, primarily because I have to get my daughter to school by 7:15. Waking up at 5 a.m. it's not my ministry. I've done it before. I've tried it before. And I don't subscribe to like this whole one size fits all of a morning routine. So if I wake up at 5, I'm going to need a nap during the day. Absolutely. And I don't have time for that.
I'm going to take my nap anyway.
Listen, she said, when I wake up at 5, 6, or 7, that nap is coming.
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
Like naps don't fit into my schedule all the time. So, I have a 30-minute morning routine, and I'm very intentional about what I do inside that morning routine. So much so, because it's so short, I can only put the necessary things in there that I know are going to be impactful for the rest of my day. So you have to kind of figure out what that looks like for you on a day-to-day basis. That way you can be consistently working towards building your confidence. So for some people, they're like, I got to meditate because I'm high strung.
That's me.
I'm very irritable. I don't have a lot of patience. So if I don't have time to center myself, even if it's for 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the beginning of the day, you recognize these things about yourself. And I know we talk about trusting yourself a lot, because you have to audit yourself.
Right.
Because if I don't get my little 10 minutes in of yoga with Cassandra on YouTube.
Come on, yoga. Shout out
like,
to Cassandra.
I'm not the same person. Like, I am literally so much, like, I don't care if I have a 15-minute routine, 10 of them minutes going to be yoga.
Yeah.
Because I need to hear her say, what is the word that you're going to focus on today? Because I need to choose the word. I'm choosing the word. And all of the deep breathing and slow, and forget all that, the stretching of my daggone body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just literally like that time. I love it. It's something that like, I don't worry about being consistent or inconsistent with it, because it's a part of who I am today. And it's a part of the woman that I want to become, is someone who takes that time to have deep breathing exercises, to stretch my body, to do all of the things that really yoga really represents as far as balance and just the spirituality, the enlightenment. That is so in alignment with me. So when your morning routine is so unique and special and like to you and so specific, then you kind of walk around with a little bit more like folks who got morning routine, sorry, we got one up on y'all. Like, I'm so sorry. We started because I know what it feels like to not. I know what it feels like to wake up. My daughter's waking me up because I didn't overslept or hit too many alarms. Now I'm rushing. I'm rushing her. Now we are. Who got time to be arguing with kids before you drop them off? And now you sitting in the school with a screw face and an attitude, all because you didn't wake up properly.
Listen. Now, for me, one thing I can't stand is to feel rushed. I don't like rushing. I don't like the adrenaline of being rushed. I don't like not being able to find my things. There's just a level of flow that I enjoy. And that comes with organization, but it also comes with having my routine. And one thing that I have to do in the morning is I got YouTube Premium. I'm so proud of my YouTube Premium, child, because all I have to do is go find my little video with my like frequency music, and it's just so soothing when I wake up, and I just at least need to lay there for give me 3 minutes. I don't even need 10. Give me them 3 so I can focus on my focus for the day. Today I feel energized. I will choose food that is energizing to my body. I will be good to myself. I need to talk to me to get me together for the day. And a lot of people struggle with having that routine. Why do you think they struggle with having a routine? Now,
I know the worried about being inconsistent. I couldn't even let you finish. I'm so tired of it. You too worried about being inconsistent. You literally are so stuck on the last time you wasn't consistent when you had a morning routine that's why you procrastinate so daggone much, because you assume that everybody who has morning routines are like 100% every day. No, the hell I'm not. And I do not wake up in no daggone 6 o'clock on the weekend. My routine looks very different on the weekend that it does during the weekday. You have to take the ownership back of this your morning routine. Them your kids and your husband and your house and your this and your that. So your routine has to be so specific to you. People will go as far as to say, well, can I have a different routine? Of course you can. If you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine and a Tuesday, Thursday routine, if you have a Monday, through Thursday routine, it has to make sense. So we're so worried about what it looks like to other people, or what our routine is supposed, like, am I supposed to do meditation? Do you need to do meditation? Like, you ain't supposed to do nothing you don't need to do. You know what I mean? So it has to be specific.
I think that in the grand scheme of things, one of the things that women, we struggle with is the fear of doing something wrong. And that's what I'm hearing you say, even though we're talking about the morning routine, just overall when it comes to just getting things done. And again, we measure confidence by productivity, which is getting things done, but we're so distracted by what if I don't do this well. We're distracted by what if this doesn't turn out right. So we struggle with decision making. We struggle with making a decision to do things that's going to help us. What's going to happen if I don't show up in all these different places because I'm not putting up a boundary to say no? Life gonna go on. Life will go on. It will go on. But you have to put those boundaries in place in order to create some consistency in your life where you feel confident in that area, whether it be in your morning routine, whether it be in your makeup, whether it be in your body goals, whatever those things look like for you. There has to be a level of release.
Yeah,
you got to release that
the what?
Perfection.
I'm not going. I ain't got it.
Don't go there. Don't go there for the people. We're gonna stick with confidence.
Y'all gonna be upset with me. Then they're gonna be like, "Don't bring her back on the live no more." She was yelling at us. And so, but you're right about. I'm worried about doing it wrong. I'm worried if it's not going to be right. And so, what I've learned is specifically as I've transitioned from personal development to more spiritual development, as it being more sustainable, is before I can give you the success mindset and this is how it's more so you have to audit yourself, because I'm always curious to how you already see this. Because
Yeah.
what makes you feel like there's a right way or a wrong way to do a morning routine? Or what does right mean? What does wrong mean? Because it's all about perspective. And even when it
Yeah.
comes down to something like my makeup, right? So I'm like I mentioned, I'm a person that is like, my makeup collection is so embarrassing. I'm so grateful for these brushes. I can't even wait. I need a special place for them and everything because I don't own nothing. I ain't got nothing. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, there's a standard for makeup that it's all imaginary, by the way. These are imaginary things. I have this imaginary standard for makeup based on the times that I've gotten my makeup done. So I'm like, first of all, I can't contour, beat, I don't. And so I also like, I like outsourcing things. And so I love the fact that like, you're like, nope, it's just for the everyday woman. Like, this is what you wake up, like when you look in the mirror and you want to put on your best self, right? So we talked about confidence being at the end of the day, I did my best. A lot of that is wrapped up into presentation.
It is.
We know because we've been in the pandemic for over 2 years, and a lot of us have transitioned online. If you are weren't already working online, and some of us fell into the sweatpants and the sweatsuits and the top gonna match the bottom because
and still ain't got out of them. I just want to say
my top gonna match the bottom. My top gonna match. But at the end of the day, like, you still want to look in the mirror because when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you work good. When you work good, it pays good. And we just can't ignore the fact that when you look in the mirror and you just do a little something. When you do it, just a little bit of something. Just wake up. Just wake up a little
something. When you do, I'm telling you, that little something makes the biggest difference. I'm telling you, I'm talking about even just learning, and you don't have to do everything at once. This is just now this is me preaching. You don't have to do everything at once. The Bible says little by little. He gonna take you from grace to grace. So that applies to you don't have to do everything at once. You can lay a brick a day. One day it might be your brows that make you feel good. One day it might be your lashes that make you feel good. One day you might actually find a lip gloss that is like, okay, I can go a little longer. I can go a little further with the gloss. But it's little by little, but we wanna grab everything.
Yeah.
We want to have everything.
Right? Yeah.
We want to wear every hat. We want to show up at every event. We want to wear this cape that we don't even have. The cape too small. It don't fit.
Yeah.
It don't fit.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out boundaries. And I want to touch on this question that Sherbert asked. She said, do you feel that boundaries should be shared with others so that they know how to respect the boundaries that you set? You want to go first?
Yeah. It's so funny. This word has been popping up everywhere now, just even in my personal life and conversations and things like that. I think once you have clearly identified why you need to establish boundaries, is first and foremost before you learn how to communicate those. Because the way that I like to define and understand boundaries is, it's not something that we create to keep other people out. It's something that we create to keep ourselves in. And that is a very, very, very different perspective. Like, there's a huge, just like self-esteem and confidence, baby. These are some things that you
say that one more time for the people in the back. Boundaries are not to keep
other people out. They should have the intention of keeping yourself in.
Yeah, I put that in the comments.
And when you have the intention to keep yourself in, you'll probably like feel less of need to compare your boundaries to another person's reaction or what they may think or what they're going to think after you communicate them. So like, it's a you thing. This is why I always say mind your business, because boundaries is really just all about identifying your needs and how you plan to meet them.
Yeah.
But now we're not talking about it. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. This ain't got nothing to do with the person that took advantage of you. It's not about the person that's using you, that but disappointed you, using up your time, calling you. This one got nothing to do with nobody but you identifying what it is that you need and creating a plan to meet them. Now, should that boundary involve you communicating it to some boundaries people don't even know about. Why? Because it ain't about them. It ain't for them. It's for me. As for me and my house, this is how I stay in my house. Like literally, I made an analogy with one of my clients, and I don't even do analogies well, y'all, but I did this one. But it really is like, it's your house. Like boundaries are like your house. It's like how I stay in here. So as well as I take care of my house and I decorate and I set things up in my environment for my success, that does not involve other people. Now, when someone comes knocking on the door, asking to come in or asking for me to leave my house, that's when you have to be a little bit more confident in your decision to create these boundaries, because you have to understand why you need to stay inside.
That's right.
If you don't know why you need to stay inside, you'll get pulled outside every time. And that's why boundaries don't stick. We struggle to create them. We struggle to uphold them because we're literally creating them to keep other people out. It ain't about them. Mind your business. You need to create some boundaries so you can be inside your house and like what you see in your own house.
Yeah. Now, there are specific people that I will communicate boundaries with, which is one, my partner, because I mean, we dwell together, so he gonna know the switch up, and he gonna be trying to figure out what's going on. And sometimes you do have to spell that out for the people.
Yeah, and that's
you do have to spell it out.
When you can do that well, like that's a testament to your own personal journey and to your own work that you're doing, because I think that people fail to communicate boundaries well, and then other people fail to respect them. So it is a two-way street. Like you do have to learn how to communicate what it is that you need, because if you communicate boundaries by doing this, you'll never get someone to really, and we expect people. This is why I don't like, let me just go on a tangent real quick. This is why I don't like, because a lot of like, in just like the healing space or just even self-care, it's always like, if people don't respect your boundaries, then, you know, like they can't just cut them off. They don't deserve the healed version of you. And I'm like, it's just still mind your business, because if you have to learn how to communicate boundaries well, because a lot of people communicate boundaries by pointing fingers. You did this to me, so that's why I can't answer the phone no more. Or that's why I'm not talking to you. I need space because you did this. When boundaries you just recognize that you needed something that you weren't getting, and you have to make a decision to create something so that you can meet those needs. And so I love that you mentioned your spouse, because it's like with someone you care about and someone that you dwell with and you live with and you love, you also don't want to make them feel like they are the reason for your poor bounce. Like, come on. That's not fair. That's not fair. So it takes a good sense of self and intention about creating boundaries in order to communicate them well.
And I think boundaries are also setting expectations. This is what you can expect. This is what I should expect from me. So first of all, it's a personal meeting from me to me. This is what I should expect. These are the expectations I have for myself. This is when I get uncomfortable, when something throws me off. I hate when people say feel some type of way, but that's what it is. That type of way is either you feel offended, you feel rejected, you feel lonely, you feel sad, you feel mad, you feel happy, whatever it is. That boundary is crossed when one of your values are violated. When somebody scratches that value or causes a wound in that value, that's when your boundary has been crossed. And I think that it's important to communicate that with people that you really care about, especially if they've maybe crossed a boundary and offended you in a way. I think if you value their relationship, then yes, let's communicate that value. Don't call me to be weird, because I don't roll like that. You know, I don't joke like that. Don't call me that. So if we're gonna stay friends, I'm not that friend, but you know, we can be cool, just I'm not that friend, right? It could also be, you know, if you don't talk on the phone after 10, I don't think that should be an announcement. It's just I didn't answer the phone. And we shouldn't have to argue about me not answering the phone. You know, so I think there's, moments where you don't have to announce it, but there are also moments where, everything should just happen organically. And there are moments where you should share those things. But boundaries, you guys, is a part of self-care. I do want to get into our three ways to fill this confidence cup, y'all.
Right.
Is this fruitful for y'all? Put some fruit in the comments if this is fruitful.
I'm stealing
Give
it.
me
Wait,
some
I'm
fruit in
stealing
the
that
comments.
one. I'm stealing that one.
Give me some fruits in the comments if this is fruitful. Hello, somebody. Listen, y'all, I am having a grand time. Let me just do a quick pause for the cause. You guys, I am having a Basic Beat 101 class. So if you don't feel confident in your makeup, then you want to get inside of my class. All you have to do is click the link in my bio and hit Take Next Class. It's in the green button. Take my next class. It's a free class. It is actually Sunday at 6. Come on, Fruit. It's actually Sunday at 6. So if you want to join that class, you guys, it is free. So make sure you click the link in my bio. Y'all, we have 3 things that we want to share with you guys to just fill your confidence cup. First of all, we have a lot of things that you can do to fill your confidence cup. But one question that I had in my story was, do you do self-care and then end up not feeling different? Because people do self-care with the intent to feel relieved, relaxed, all this kind of stuff. But I asked the question of, do you do self-care and then you don't feel any different? And I think that the 3 things that we have here is going to help them to feel different. So the first thing that we talked about was intentionally planning self-care.
Yeah.
How do we intentionally plan self-care? I want y'all to put number 1 in the comments. Intentionally plan self-care. Point number 1, intentionally plan self-care. Be intentional about planning your self-care. Let's break that down. Intentional. Yeah. I meant to do it.
Yep.
I meant that thing. Plan.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, wrote a time, put it in my calendar, and nothing was gonna stop the plan. Self-care. We done talked about plenty of ways to do this. So let's dive a little bit deeper into intentionally planning self-care to fill your confidence cup.
Right. So I'll give you guys an example. I am a coach and I primarily work with other coaches. And so if I know that I'm launching, and I'm in the season of my business where I'm launching and I'm looking at my launch calendar, because we do these things for business, right? We intentionally plan for business. We don't always intentionally plan for our life and our personal life. And so you're looking at the calendar, you have all of these things set up and you have all, week by week, you're looking at what you have to do. I always look at certain tasks in my business and things that I have to do and ask myself, from on a scale of 1 to 10, how much energy output is that? Like, how much energy is that going to take out of me? And this has always been really monumental, especially as I look at different big projects that I have, or if you have big things coming up, you're planning a birthday party, you're just doing these, things that are already on the calendar, right? That you can kind of backwards plan for as far as self-care. So if I know there are certain things in my launch process or my launch calendar that are going to drain me, that are going to take out a lot of my energy. And then there may be some other things on there, like maybe a live like this. So I like live videos because that's something that actually I get energy from.
Same.
Right. So if I know that yesterday I am doing something that's super draining, but today I have a live, I know that I'm going to probably be filled back up. Right. And so in order to look at your calendar and intentionally start to insert different self-care activities on weeks and on days where you're going to feel drained. And baby, if that's every day because you only like your job or the people at work stress you out, then it needs to be every day. If it got to be every day, it got to be every day. If it needs to be every week, everybody is so different. There are no rules to this thing, or there are only the rules that you create as the CEO of your life. And so if you're intentionally looking at what you have coming up, you can go to a list. I've always have had my clients make a list of the things and activities that fill them up. Right? Because if they're not already on the calendar, then you need to put them on the calendar. That's why you hear people say you have to intentionally plan for rest. Okay,
Yeah.
because your girl take a Sabbath every week. I
Yes.
sleep in, honey, I'm watching movies, I'm cleaning my home, I'm doing my
Yeah.
laundry. These are things that are just like, I love the gratitude of like cleaning and doing laundry. I know it's weird. Okay. So like these are things that literally fill me up. They feel good to me, you know, and you have to be able to identify what those things are. Maybe it is a massage. Maybe it is a lot of physical forms of, maybe it is beat in your face. Maybe it is getting dressed up. Maybe it's a dinner date. Maybe it's a lunch date with friends. Maybe it's coffee with a friend. Maybe it's so many different things. And this is why I love when people, because it's not what I say to you that is going to matter as far as putting that on your list. It's what you know yourself is going to give you a lot of energy that's going to feel good. You have to intentionally put those things on a calendar. I love when people take intentional Sabbaths. I'm one of those people. Like there was a sermon from Pastor Mike Todd at Elevate. That's not Elevation. That's Transformation Church.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, is that Transformation? It's Transformation Church.
It
It's
is.
Mike Todd.
Uh-huh.
So he has a sermon about the Sabbath, about keeping the Sabbath. And ever since
Yeah.
I watched that sermon, y'all, like that has completely shifted my view of like me, like taking a rest day as serious as I take any other 10 of the 10 commandments.
Yeah. You guys,
Because it's
listen,
on
I
there.
want you to put Sabbath in the comments. I want you to put Sabbath in the comments. And I think that the limiting belief behind that is laziness, or I have so much to get done. If I don't get it done, it's never going to get done. I'm procrastinating. I'm wasting time, blah, 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 blah. But the reverse of that, you guys, I want you to type rest is productive.
Mm-hmm.
Rest is productive. Rest is productive. And I think the more that we affirm that, okay, saying it out loud, the more that we release the guilt behind resting. Okay.
Absolutely. And let me
It
take it a
does
step
not
further.
make you
Rest. Go ahead. No, I
it
was going to
doesn't
say
make you
rest is
a
productive.
yeah, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't
Right.
make you lazy. Forget what your mama said. Forget what your daddy said.
Yeah.
Rest is productive. It does not change you as a person because you need rest. Because if you don't incorporate rest, God will, and you don't want him to incorporate your rest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the main reason why rest is productive is you need to sit down somewhere so that God can do what you cannot do.
Come
And
on.
that was the big revelation for me was like, see, that's why it feels so, that's why I'm so tired all the time. That's why I feel like I'm running, trying to do, you're doing too much. Sit down somewhere. Because so God can move.
You gonna owe a lot of these people some band-aids for their toes because you stepping on them right now. You're stepping on them.
It's a good shift though. That's a good
It
mindset.
is.
Like okay. Like there in your business, in your relationships, in your life, like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you do this, when you do incorporate this, that's when he shows up and you don't know, you don't have a reason why. I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know because he moved on
Yeah.
your behalf because you were
Yeah.
obedient to rest.
Yeah. You know, that's something me and my friend we were talking about, how when we don't rest, it's really a lack of trust in God that
Absolutely.
he can't handle it. Knowing that he can now. I know that he able, right? But when we don't rest, there's a lack of trust in God. So that moves me to number 2. You guys put 2 in the comments. I love y'all so much for typing in the comments tonight. I just appreciate y'all so much. I love that. Number 2 is learning to trust yourself. Man, I can fill my confidence cup by learning to trust myself. How do we do that?
Child, I need you to follow through. You got to follow through.
Come on. See what
And
the end gonna
it's
be.
day to day too. I love day to day. I love it. Jim Rohn calls. I'm a student of Jim Rohn. He's on my mental board of directors. That's my guy daddy. Okay.
Come on.
So Jim Rohn says the small daily disciplines. So if you said you was gonna do it, go on and follow through. because a lot of why we don't trust ourselves is a failure to follow through. You said something, and it's, I don't even know if it's more so discipline, but it's just sometimes a lack of self-control. And it's not easy to follow. People, like, we just assume all of these things are easy. That's why we don't work at it, because we assume that we already do it, first of all, because then you got to actually admit that you do not follow through, and you don't, which I love it. And because I mostly talk to women, I just say, learn how to keep promises to yourself. It's so important. Like, if you said you was like, just go on and do it. Little bit by little bit, you'll be like, oh, I can, if I said it, I meant it. I can learn to trust my own word.
Yeah. And see, what happens is we get so upset when other people don't keep their promises to us.
So mind
but when is the last time that we kept a promise to ourselves? We got to keep that same energy.
Yeah.
And when we do keep promises to ourselves, again, that creates a new value, because now you value integrity. And when you value integrity, when somebody else doesn't have integrity, your self-esteem just went up, right? And that leaves them over there, which creates a gate, another boundary that they can't get in. You can't come in because I did this for me. And ain't no way in hell I'm gonna let you come over here and disrupt the promises that I kept to myself. And I'm not gonna allow anybody else to tell me they're gonna do something and then they don't, and then keep them in this space, and it keeps violating my values, which is making me feel some kind of way, which is rejected, lonely, sad, devalued, undervalued, underpaid, whatever those feelings are that rock us. So I love that. Learning to trust yourself is what? Pop quiz. Learning to trust yourself means what? What does that mean? Number 2 is learning to trust yourself, but it means what?
I saw people taking notes, honey.
Yeah, baby, they taking the notes. Do you hear me?
Dedicated.
Learning to trust yourself is keeping promises to yourself. I love this so much. All right, let's hit number 3. Yeah. Number 3, physical environment. Now, here's what I made a decision to do. Wherever I dwell, I will decorate. Wherever I dwell, I'm going to decorate. It took me so long to decorate in my apartment because in my mind, I wasn't going to be there long. So there was no point in me decorating. That was the worst decision. Because I felt I always was ready to go. I want to go out of town. I want to go over here. I want to go over here. You know, I want to go work. I need to go work at a cafe. I need to go, you know, have a staycation or something like that. But I made a commitment. I said, wherever I dwell, I will decorate. Because that environment, your physical environment, makes such a huge difference. I hired my friend. She's an organizer. Hired her to organize. Changed everything. I was like, child, I didn't know I was suffocating until I could breathe. When you walk into that closet and you know exactly where them red pumps are that you were looking for, and you can get out the door on time, that's a totally different. That's a
Look,
totally different.
She already said it don't like to be rushed. She already told y'all she don't like to.
Don't rush me.
To be stressed out. I want to be able to find what I'm looking for. I want to be able to find what I'm looking for. I agree.
It makes a difference. Go ahead.
No, that's really good. I think when I think about physical environment, the thing that comes to mind the most is to be able to set your environment up for success.
Yeah.
And so whatever, and you get to define success. I'm always going to put it back on you because you are the one who has to carry these things out on a day-to-day basis. So it has to mean something for you. So you get to decide and define what success in your environment looks like. My like close friends, like in family, I say close because not a lot of people have been in my house, but like they always call my house a hotel or an Airbnb. I am so particular. I don't like stuff out. I got a 7-year-old. You wouldn't even know all her toys and stuff put up, put away in a bin, in the this. I got bins for everything. And I make my bed like a hotel.
Do you fold your towels like a hotel?
I do. I fold my
You
towels.
watch TikTok?
I just, no, I don't. And I'm like, that's why I don't even need to be all of it, because I'm gonna be lost in the sauce on it. I heard there's like whole TikToks for this type of stuff, but it really means something for me to have a workspace that I enjoy. Like it's everything's very intentional when it comes to setting your environment up for success. I need a very large table. Some people don't even look at stuff like that. You just buy a desk. No, I recognize that when I work, I have binders for everything. I'm talking like big binders. So I open them up. I have stuff, like I have a ton. I needed a very large desk, right? I wanted a comfortable chair, like little, very small things where I do my morning routine. It's not just a chair, it's a chair with a footstool, because maybe I like to put my feet up when I'm journaling.
Yes.
Like, it's very small things that are so unique to you that if you didn't take time to audit yourself and what you need and what you need to see in your environment in order to feel successful, you're not even going to know that you need your closet to be organized. Because if you're scrambling around looking for your red pumps, you're gonna be upset, because you're gonna mess around, you're gonna forget something out the door, You just know yourself well. And so when you know yourself, like, you can start to think of, okay, what are things that I can introduce into my physical environment that's really going to support, like, me working towards that best version of myself. I love vision boards. Something really quickly is, I actually, like, for myself, and I always, like, now I always do this with my clients as far as creating digital vision boards. And we do it through Canva, because you can import, pictures of your actual family. You can, get rid of the background on your photos so everything can fit. You can create a board. I'm looking at mine right now. And Canva will print it out. Honey, they will print it out, 18 by 24, and send it to you for $7.
Listen.
And you could put that thing in a frame.
Let me see if I can
put it on your wall. Right. Look at this. Hold on. I don't even know how to get mine down. Is it? Oh, there
I go right there.
There you go. You gotta have
love it.
You gotta have it. I love how we have notes on the side of it too. Because you have to have that. And I think sometimes what happens, because a lot of us do vision boards and we want to, but try a digital vision board next time. Because for me, like, I couldn't, like, my OCD, as you can see, like, I'm just like, but like, I never hung my vision boards that I did cut and paste. I would never really hang them up in, like, my room space, because I'm like, that look like clip art. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I wanted to, like, zhuzh it up. Like, I was like, I wanted to frame it. I wanted to be bigger, And so, like, that's me. That's a Tenagne thing. Like, having to make it, something. I didn't look like something. So I knew that about myself. And so ever since I did the digital vision boards, a year hasn't gone by where I've actually, like, as I'm working, I can glance up and read it. And, like, for a lot of us who are entrepreneurs, like, and you're working from home, you're going to need things in your physical environment to remind you of what you need to be happy, to feel successful, to feel productive. Like, is it candles is it fresh flowers every week? Is it, I have a whiteboard too, because I live by a whiteboard, live and die by the whiteboard now. Like, so, but for me, I'm like, so then I'm the Tenagne thing. People, like, if you with me on this, because some people are OCD like me, I don't, like, I have to have I have a clear whiteboard, like a clear, like, acrylic one.
I have my entire wall is a whiteboard.
Oh, did you do the thing and you made the whole wall?
Listen, Home Depot, me, okay? My entire wall is a whiteboard.
Oh, I love
the whole thing. Like, the entire wall is a whiteboard. So I am a teacher to my core.
Yeah, me too.
You give me a whiteboard in the school supply aisle, baby. Listen.
Yep. The school supply aisle.
For real.
It's so bad. When I tell you about binders, don't even look at binders, sheet protectors, hole punchers. Somebody was like, you probably got a laminator. I do. I got 2 of them. So, I'm a former teacher like that. I just eat.
I need that. I need that. And I really need a membership to, like, Knowledge Tree, Office Depot. Like,
right. Right.
like my business expenses, like Office Depot, is kind of ridiculous.
I need my stuff. I need my things, my pen, my
I'm
journal.
gonna write it off. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's okay. So you're
Then
right.
I just got an iPad, girl, so I think I'm doing something with my
Yeah.
life. But that's neither here or there.
But
So,
it matters.
yeah,
It matters.
it does. It does. I absolutely believe that it does, you guys. Let me just review these 3 ways real quick, you guys. The first thing, hold on. Do y'all remember the first way to fill your cup? What's the first way? It's a pop quiz, baby, because you guys to pay attention. Thank y'all so much. Sherbert was supposed to get off this live 10 minutes ago, but she decided to spend her self-care with us tonight in this discussion. So many people are asking, is the live going to be saved? Absolutely, it will be saved. In Jesus' name, as long as, you know, Instagram don't act a fool. Y'all are sharing your own experiences with your self-care with each other. I love that. Miss Cassandra said this is a podcast, y'all, which I will listen. I download this bad boy and extract that audio and start a podcast now. Don't tempt me.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Don't tempt me. Shoot, these podcasters are podcasting, okay?
Right, ain't they? Yeah.
Hello. So, all right, awesome. Yes, number 1 was be intentional with planning your self-care. Absolutely. Number 2, you guys, what was number 2? What was number 2? That's right, Melissa. Melissa said Sabbath. That's all I need to remember from number 1. Sabbath.
Right. I heard that.
Number 2, you guys, what was number 2? Again, we appreciate y'all so much. This has been fantastic. Y'all was thick in this thing too. Y'all held it down. Come on. J. Rochelle, that's my student. Jamisha, shout out to BU Nation. She said number 2, follow through. Yes, learning to trust yourself. Learning to trust yourself is following through. I think that was probably like my favorite point tonight. Because you don't realize that you can't trust. And I talk about this all the time with my students, because when they're doing their makeup, I'm instructing you along the way. So it's not going to be cute along the way, because we just applying stuff. We ain't blended it yet. You know, we putting powder on. You trying to figure out how this going to work out. This powder don't look like it match my skin tone, blah, blah, blah. But they give up right in the middle. They give up in the middle. Right?
Yeah.
And then you never see what the end gonna be. You got to hold on until the end.
Yeah. It's very hard to tell people, and that's, you know, and I hear this a lot, especially in the entrepreneurship space. We tell people a lot to trust the process. It's very difficult to trust the process when you don't even trust yourself.
Woo!
It's a very challenging mindset shift to make. Don't know why it's so difficult. And so we can start very small. All of these things, what I love is you can do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everything that we talked about tonight, you can get up and do tomorrow. Literally. Yeah. So it's just a huge shift that has so many ripple effects, because if you do learn to trust yourself, first of all, you'll remember the times that you did follow through all the way through the process. So it'll show up in the next, you know, phase of it where you're in the process and you're like, okay, it may not, it's ugly, because sometimes the process is a little bit ugly, you know? And
you be looking a fool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
all right, number 3, y'all.
Yeah.
Number three, y'all are doing so well. So well. Jamisha said heavy on the follow through. We get nervous when you turn us loose. I don't know why. I talked to them like I don't know if you remember when J-Lo played in that movie Enough, and she went to train with the trainer so she could fight her husband back. And she was laying on that floor, and he was like, just follow my voice. I tell them that all the time. Just follow my voice. It's going to be all right.
I'm coming to the class. I got to do a little bit more. I need to do a little bit more than this. I can do a little bit more. Come on over, girl.
Okay, awesome, you guys. Set up your environment for success. I am super duper excited. I don't know who SJR Forever is. I don't know who that is, but if you don't have a set of matte brushes, I want to gift you a set tonight. You have been fantastic with all this commenting. You've been the first to comment. You've been on top of it. And so congratulations to you. You win a set of matte brushes. Make sure you DM me and let me know your mailing details and your email address. So congratulations to you. And let me just shout out to Tenagne. Tenagne, thank you, girl.
It was such a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.
It was such a
This has been amazing.
Yeah.
You guys, tell me what are you gonna do starting tonight or tomorrow to shift how you're showing up for yourself. Because what I gathered is that your confidence is really stemmed from how well you show up for yourself. That's literally what I wrote down. The measuring confidence is how well did I take care of myself? How well did I take care of myself? What are you going to do to shift? What was your aha moment tonight? Tenagne, can you tell them how they can work with you, what you got going on, anything you want to share with them?
Absolutely. So you can, my DMs are always open. So I love to just chit chat and serve right through the DMs. You can also book a 20-minute discovery call with me. I'm primarily a one-on-one coach, and I primarily serve women who are already entrepreneurs or are shifting from part-time to full-time CEOs. And so you can always follow me at Love Tenagne. I'm sure I'm somewhere here or on Z's page. So you can follow me there. And you guys, I literally have a free 30-day self-love guide, which are literally 30 different self-loving actions that you can do every single day. They're very specific, they're very intentional, and they're very aligned with what it is that we're talking about today. And you could download that by clicking the link in my bio. So I would love for you guys to just be starting, this next month off. We're approaching the end of this month, going into the summer. It's just really important for us to, take a lot of the things that we heard here today, but actually put them into action. But I want to shout you out, Z, because this teachable moment, I actually used your example of how you reached out to me about this live for another one of my clients who was struggling with the confidence to go into the DMs and get those partnerships and collaborations. Because let me tell you, we've never talked before, you guys. So let me just say that I've never physically talked to you before. We've kikied in the DMs and things like that, but you got the right person for this topic. That's why the people on your live and the people in your community are so impacted by this conversation, because of your intentionality and obedience by pointing me out, that's the person that I want to talk about this topic. And you guys, because of her level of confidence, the way you shot your shot in the DM was so, you presented yourself so well. I literally used it in a coaching call and literally pulled up the message and said, because she already knew what topic she was going to talk about with her audience and found the person in alignment with that topic, it was such a no-brainer for me. And you came with the date, the topic, it was so professional because of the level of confidence that you carried into it. And for somebody like me, I'm yeah, what's that? Yeah, of course. It wasn't it was just very, and not necessarily, I don't want you guys to hear that and think polished, but it was just more so your approach was very confident. I know what I'm doing. I know who I need. Here's the time. Here's the date. Are you open? And it was just so what other would I say but yes, And so I hope you guys if you're afraid to reach out to people for collaborations or partnerships, you don't know how another voice is going to impact the community that you serve, but it does start with you and being able to build your confidence up to approach people and be direct and say, hey, you have something that could impact my community. And it's so selfless of you to bring me into your community to speak to them, because this was for them. I know we benefit because like you mentioned, we get to know each other a little bit more, but your decision to bring me on was for your community. And that is just so powerful, that whatever limiting beliefs or whatever you had, because you'd be oh, she might be busy, or oh, she might or oh, and ain't none of that block you from saying,
we be in our heads now.
We be in our heads. We be in our heads.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. And my mantra has been, I'm shooting my shot all 2022.
Okay. Period. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm shooting them. From from the free throw line to the
The
three-point line.
three-pointer to
Baby,
the half court, baby.
I'm shooting. I'm shooting. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That really means a lot to me. And as I'm processing that also that validation just really builds my confidence too. So I appreciate that so much, and I'm gonna keep going, and I want you to keep going because what you're talking about is necessary. And I know that there are two sides to what we do because we are coaches and we're dealing with those who are not where we are in our mindset, but they want to be. And it just makes it so much easier to serve people who are mentally ready.
Yep.
And so anything that I can do just to help them to push past those limiting beliefs, to push past, you know, the doubt. And I can't heal you, but I can try to give you some tools to help you heal those spaces sometimes you don't even know about. So I appreciate your gift. I appreciate you hopping on. You guys, y'all go like Tenagne's page up, okay? Go click the link in her bio. I want to know that y'all downloaded the 30-day self-love guide. I want to know that you commented and said thank you so much for joining. I want you guys to hit her up. Let me tell you, Tenagne, how I found you. I found you through Maya. I started following through Maya. So I did graduate from her 12-week program. And then I saw you on stage with, you know, being recognized as a woman of impact as well. But I've been following for a while. I jumped into your morning routine challenge. So I've been following you for a while, and I just love everything that you're doing. So keep going, sis.
Thank you. I'm so
it's
humbled.
making a difference.
So much. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, listen, you guys, it's been fantastic. I'm pumped up and energized. I might need to write out. I might need to do something now.
Right.
This is how I fill my cup too. Teaching is a way that I fill my cup. So thank you guys so much for joining. We'll have to do this again, girl.
Yes.
All right.
Let's go in.
All right, you guys, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.